Hi, I'm Derek, business systems coach for contractors. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips to running a successful contracting business, putting more money in your bank account, more free time in your calendar without you banging your head against the wall. All right, so before we jump in, give this video a big thumbs up. If you get some value out of it, if you enjoy the videos, make sure to give it that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, got tons of great content. All right, so first thing to running a successful contracting business is getting your branding in place and leveled up. Not a lot of contractors enjoy this, but it's so essential. Things you want to be looking at is your logo. If you haven't updated your logo in the last, couple of years, it's probably outdated. Make sure it's looking good. It doesn't have to be changed all the time, but refreshed and updated. Website as well. Make sure you've always got new pictures of new projects. You've got enough verbiage and copy on your website that people understand what you do, who you are. They don't just look at it and it's another generic Joe contractor from XYZ contracting. Make sure you got enough content on your website, and you want to be looking at SEO as well. So what are you known for? You want to be using those words and talk to your web developer about improving your SEO so that when people see your website or search for your services, that you're actually coming up and you're part of the conversation. Beyond that, there's a lot that goes into a website, but make sure that's fresh and updated and it well represents your company. Marketing materials as well. So marketing and branding, it expands across your entire company. Everything from your voicemail to your business cards, door hangers, setting up signs on sites, your email, having a proper tag on your emails that shows your company. So just make sure that whatever part of your business that people interact with, your branding, your name, your logo, your colors, everything is there and consistent and representing you. And then finally, decals. So getting your truck decaled, your vehicles decaled, whatever it is, make sure you're well present. So that's the first thing to running a successful contracting business, is making sure your branding is all inclusive. And the reason this is so important is that construction is up and down. There's booms, there's busts. If you don't have a good brand presence and constantly are marketing, you're gonna have big ups, big downs. You're gonna have money in the bank, and then you're gonna be struggling the next month. So branding and proper marketing is a way to even out those cycles and make sure you're always busy and able to choose your projects instead of trying to run around and hunt for new business all the time. All right, moving on. Number 2, is this making sense? Implement software. So software, again, so important for a successful contracting business. The days of just working out of your truck and off paper is long gone. You need proper systems in place that may make your head spin. You may hate looking for which programs to use and how to put up software and set this up and set that up, and you gotta do passwords and get this, and you're spending monthly payments on all this different software. But getting it set up, it's a thing of beauty. Your business will run so much smoother. You'll be putting out less fires. It'll take less your time as well as your employees' time. So different software you want to be looking to get set up is your project management software. So this could be things like Buildertrend, Contractor Foreman, Procore, Jobber, House Call Pro. So pick the right one. I've got videos. Go check out other videos that I have of how to choose the right ones. Other software you want to be looking at is time tracking software. So you should be tracking your employees' time by job and by task. So if they're framing 2 hours, they should be putting that in. If they're installing flooring, that should be its own labor code. So depending on what you're doing, you should be able to track your employees' time, project, and task. And then finally, a CRM. So a lot of contractors will use their project management software as their CRM, their client relationship management software. I think they should be separate because they both have their own things that they need to do well. When I'm talking about CRM, I'm talking on the front end, the marketing, the lead nurture, your email marketing, your first contact, collecting contacts information, scheduling calls, scheduling follow-ups, all that kind of stuff can be done with proper software so that you're not dropping business. The worst thing to do is that you're dropping leads or you're ineffective in your sales because you're too busy. You lose track of this lead, lose track of that lead. You're not following up. You're like, oh, I forgot about that client, 3 weeks later, and they've picked another contractor already. You've done a poor job of being able to provide a quote for them or get back to them with information. So implementing software and systems, super pivotal. Reach out to me if you want help with specifics or you need to understand, which software, which systems get into place. Here to help. I'd be glad to help you. There's links in the description. All right, moving on. Number 3, selective hiring. So a successful contracting business is going to be, your processes, your systems, your infrastructure on one side, and then you've got your people on the other side. So those are the two things that come together to really make a proper, successful construction business. And so hiring the right people. Often this this is probably one of the big kind of roadblocks to a lot of contractors being able to grow, to scale, to finally kind of get off of the day-to-day grind, is having the right people in place and being able to provide a system for them for training, for nurturing, for retaining employees. I was talking with a business owner the other day who had over 20 employees, and they had incredibly high turnover. I couldn't believe it. They're saying they're hiring 6 or 7 people, maybe keeping one of those. Like, that just shows me that there's like a really ineffective system in place. You're wasting everybody's money. The culture is crap, because who wants to be working on a site where we've got just this revolving door of new hires that come in, they suck, and then we fire them, or they bugger off, or whatever. Like, it just shows the company is not putting effort into the people in hiring and creating a culture of a team environment. So people so important, and things you want to be looking for getting this set up for to be successful is there should be an onboarding process and a hiring process. So part of your hiring process should be vetting new hires, making sure they have the right experience, talking with them obviously through an interview, but having like a standard set of questions that are objective and that you can kind of rate them in the different categories, specific questions to draw out circumstances to see how they're good fit, how they deal with challenges, how they show leadership if that's part of the position, how detailed can they get explaining what they do, what is their experience with different companies, why do they leave previous companies, talking with other people they've worked with, whether that's employees or other business owners, getting the full picture so that you're not just hiring someone, seeing if they work out for a day or two, if they work good, if they're not, then you just fire them and get the next guy. It's just a bad way to do business, and it's wasting your time, wasting your money, and not making a great culture for you. Other things to look at for selective hiring is like proper onboarding. So again, when you pick the right person, or at least you believe they're the right person, put some time into onboarding them properly so that they feel like they are being given the chance to succeed, not just throwing them in there, but actually having a process of like, this is what you're going to need, this is when you're going to show up, this is what we're going to be going over, this is what your next 3 months look like as far as training, as far as getting spun up with a team here, so that they can see there is a future here and that you are invested in making sure that they are well taken care of. All right, so does that make sense? Moving on, number 4 to running a successful contracting business. Make sure you stick around. I've got a bonus tip at the end for you. Moving on, number 4, up your bookkeeping. So whatever level your bookkeeping is at right now, I'm sure there's some room for improvement. If there's one thing I know, it's that contractors, myself included when I got started, bookkeeping, keeping track of the numbers, doing all that process and data and back end stuff is just not fun and not worth your time generally, but super important to make sure that you are not just running your ship blind, but that you're actually looking at the numbers and seeing where you are financially to make sound business decisions and run a proper, successful contracting business. So things to be looking at: you should know your overhead, you should know your profit, you should be reading reports regularly to see where things are at, looking at cash flow to know how does the next couple of weeks to months look, and then finally getting proper job costing set up. So we talked about it before with time tracking, but having proper job costing so that you're budgeting and estimating jobs, on the back end when the job is complete, and throughout the job, are we over budget on this? Are we over budget on that? Are we under budget? Where are we at financially, right? Are things tracking well? Do we have to make adjustments? What's happening with the money? Are you losing money? Are you making money? I know the pain of this. I've ran a contracting business. I ran into financial issues, and a large part of it was that I wasn't watching the numbers. I was thinking, I just need to push sales, need to push marketing, need to push my guys, get production done, just keep fueling the business, keep running and working hard, and the profit and the big success will come. Well, if you don't know where your numbers are at and you're not profitable, if you don't know what actually is happening, black and white on the bottom line, and just hoping that your bank account is full, but not realizing where the numbers are at with your bookkeeping. And it's more than just filing your expenses and having your books up to date. There's a lot more that goes into it as far as tracking the different areas and costs and expenses and jobs and projects of your business. So not going to go on about that, but moving on, final point, wait for the bonus after. 5, open to learn. So you're already learning, you're on this video, you made it nearly to the end, so kudos to you. But learning is so important, and there is definitely better ways to learn and things that you can do to accelerate your progress way beyond what your current potential is. And places where you want to look is business groups. So business groups of people who are in similar circumstances to you, similar or slightly above. If you're in a group that's way beyond your kind of expertise of business, it's probably not going to be overly helpful, because they're going to be talking about concepts and they're going to be working with budgets and businesses and personnel beyond where you're at. You're going to be kind of struggling and working on these kind of problems or whatever, whether you're, maybe you're a couple $100,000 business, or maybe it's $1 million or $2 million. If you're in a business group with 10 guys doing 10 million plus in their business, you're going to be at a different phase in business. So you want to be looking at business groups that are with you. Inverse of that, if you are, doing a couple $1 million in sales and you're in a business group with, a lot of newer guys or smaller businesses, they're probably not, you're going to be helping them more than you, which isn't a bad thing, but you're probably not going to be getting as much benefits as if you're in a business group with people of your caliber. So does that make sense? Other ways to look at this is, training. So there's lots of training programs. I have a whole bunch of training programs available, as well as coaching. So coaching is huge, because coaching is someone who has been able to produce at a higher level, or has helped businesses produce at a higher level, who can help you specifically one-on-one. So maybe a business group with people well above your capabilities isn't, a best fit, but a coach who's been there and done that and, built a business from where you're at to where you want to go can do a lot better job of actually helping you through those trials, tribulations, all those issues, and point you in the right direction and give you advice and provide you, like, this is what I did, this is what I used, this is how I handled that situation. And it exponentially skyrockets your progress and your ability to succeed well beyond if you would just be trying to, do this yourself. And reading books, I'm big on reading, great resource as well, but learning from people is going to be a big boost to you and your business. All right, moving on to the bonus. So a big difference that I see that really separates the super high achievers, and not just super high achievers like they're top performers and they're just like working their business all the time, but people who are truly successful in life. And success to me is more than just what's in your bank account. Obviously, it's how you spend your time, the freedom you have, your impact, your legacy, all those things that go into just having a great life, the amount of adventure you can take, the open-mindedness that you have. And what it really boils down to is transparency and accountability, whether that's with your clients so that they feel that you're being upfront, you're being honest, you're being accountable, you're doing what you say you're going to do, but also just treating people properly, whether that's your employees, whether that's people around you in your community, your family, your loved ones. And that's what I've seen time and time again between the people that are really truly successful and living like an abundant, amazing life and have like incredibly successful businesses, and those that are still kind of struggling and trying to get by and just, trying to make that next sale, or cutting a corner, or, scheming up some other new get rich, kind of thing, and trying to, just work super hard and think they can just, outcut all the competition. That is the real difference between successful entrepreneurs and those that aren't successful, is how they treat people, treat them properly. So hope you got value out of this. I've got a free course. Look in the description below, click the link, how to build a business that works without you. It's all about setting up systems in your business, how to get the proper processes so that you can, increase your profitability, but more importantly, save some time, stop putting out the same, fires day in, day out, get off the day to day, start building a successful, growing business, and always be able to reach out to me. Drop some comments if you can. Here's to you and your successful business.